Welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 26, where your Baltimore Bee-Holes are 38 and 24. They are ahead by the narrowest of margins over the Tampa Bay Rays. We have lost Jackson Holliday. We have lost starting pitcher David Peterson. Holliday's out for the year. Peterson should be back sometime like a month from now. The latest version of the graphical depth chart looks like this. Lars Newbar is back from his rehab assignment in the minors, so he's going to jump right back into left field. Griffin Conine has been pulled. Cody Clemens is going to be starting. I feel like his hitting is just a little stronger than Conine's at this point. So Cody Clemens is going to get that DH role in against righties. Everything else the same except at second base, obviously, to replace Jackson Holliday. We've gone with the superior defense and questionable offense of Trey Sweeney. I think we've got enough hitting that that defense may carry us through. And from the lefty side, Casey Schmidt is going to take the DH role, and then Clemens and Conine will back him up. Zach Geloff is also kicking around. You can find him here and there. But hopefully we'll just be able to use him to pinch hit in effective situations. And the pitching is the same as I showed last time. We are down one David Peterson, and so we brought up the somewhat sketchy Roman Angelo from AAA. And we're just going to hold on to our hats and hope that the offense really shows up on days that Angelo is pitching. June 27th, and we are exactly halfway through this season. We are leading our division with a record of 51 and 30. And at this point, only the Angels have won more games, and we're tied with Atlanta for the most wins. So things are going remarkably well, even without Jackson Holliday. If we go into our pitching staff, we're seeing that Logan Webb is the destroyer this year. He is 11 and 0 with a 2.12 ERA, 8.7 Ks per 9. A whip of 0.99, so on the verge of a Cy Young performance if he can keep things together. Tarek Skubal is pitching okay. He's put up 2.5 pitcher WAR, so he's being productive. He's just given up a few too many runs, and mostly that's due to home runs. And he is also not getting the run support he needs to pick up those wins, so he has a losing record of 6 and 8. Manuel Clase has just been kind of blah in the closer role this year. As you can see, he's just not striking guys out anymore like he was, and he is getting kind of bad BABIP luck, which is important for him because he's not a huge strikeout guy. The rest of the bullpen performing pretty well, especially Edward Bizzardo with that 1.4 ERA and the 12.9 Ks per 9. Aroldis Chapman has been just fine for us. Jose Ferrer, since coming back up, has pitched 29 innings of under 1 ERA ball. Troy Taylor and Tanner Scott kind of hanging in there. We're going to see if their performances improve. Newcomer Roman Angelo to the rotation. We need David Peterson back, honestly. He's pitching him okay. I can't expect too much more out of him. I do expect more out of Grayson Rodriguez with that 4.9 ERA. Giving up tons of home runs, so that's unfortunate. But who's getting it done this year is the offense rather than our pitchers. Corey Lee again leading the team in OPS plus. I don't know why he hits them so well. His ratings do not support this kind of performance, so we'll just take that as a bit of luck. But yeah, Corey Lee hitting 378 off the bench. If we go down into our everyday players, we'll see Tristan Casas, 26 home runs, so he's on pace to crack 50. 295 batting average, slugging 623, OPS plus of 156. Brenton Doyle not far behind on the OPS plus with 134. And if I'm not mistaken, he should be leading in WAR, and he is. He's on pace for about a 6 WAR season. Mason Wynn just putting up a very solid performance, not outstanding in any one particular stat, but he's hitting 270. He got an OPS plus of 107, performing well at shortstop, hitting for a little bit of power. Manny Machado's having a much better year this year. We're very happy to see it. He's hitting 293 with an on-base of 350. Let's see who's actually drawing walks this year. Kyle Tucker and Tristan Casas are drawing most of the walks. Brent Doyle not too far behind. Brent Doyle also has the most stolen bases at this point. Our main base stealer was Jackson Holliday, of course, and he is no longer with us, at least for the time being. I do find it interesting that Doyle's hitting well, yet is on pace to strike out about 180 times. That's fine with me as long as he keeps producing. I don't care how many times he strikes out. Henry Davis is having a little bit of an off year. If we pull it by OPS Plus, he's at the bottom of the list, but I would say that it's great that he's catching well, but he's catching okay. He's given up some framing runs. That zone rating's fine. You know, he's just kind of there. What we really need out of him this year is his bat. And Kyle Tucker, with his 240 average, and he's not taking as many strikeouts as he does sometimes. Hitting 19 home runs, OPS Plus of 111. So Tucker's playing all right. I'd like to see him hitting for a little more power, but we did find out that his power was declining slightly. But at least we're not paying $40 million for him. We're only paying about $20. So things are looking pretty darn good at midseason. Can't ask for a whole lot better than this. We're on track to win 100 games. And once we get David Peterson back into the starting rotation, the absence of Jackson Holliday all year is going to hurt, but I do think that we are still very strong contenders. Some terrible news from mid-May that I missed. My best prospect, pitcher Gage Wood, has torn his UCL. So I was kind of looking for somebody to come up and start for us, and I was like, maybe it's time for Gage Wood. And so I went looking for him, and I thought, well, where is he? And then that feeling came over me, oh no, he must be injured, and it must be bad. And it is. It's really bad. It couldn't be a whole lot worse. And because my season hasn't been derailed enough by injuries yet, one of my very best relievers, Will Vest, is gone for the season. He somehow fractured his elbow. So sometimes you just break your elbow and, that's just what you do. Hunter Gaddis, who's pitching well in AAA after I sent him down, will be taking his spot in middle relief. And it is time for the first-year player draft. So I went ahead and did the draft and thought I was recording myself talking about my picks, but I wasn't. So we'll get a recap. First pick, which we speculated about, ended up being Angelo Zavala. He was one of the last great players available, and we snatched him up round one. Second pick, there were not a lot of great hitters. Again, the AI is really preferring hitters, so I picked up another great pitcher. 3.5-star guy. I mean, really kind of a borderline 4-star guy, if you ask me. So I was happy to pick up Jason Tim. And then things got a little leaner. I picked up an outfielder who, he's got some pretty good contact. If the power develops and the eye develops, he could be great. But if it doesn't fully develop, then he's going to be at best a role player, AAA guy. Then we picked up Jason Brooks because there were still decent pitchers available. And the pick I was most excited about, our 5th-round pick, Kyle Boylston. He's got great outfield ratings, and his bat is just good enough so that we can kind of sweat and hope he develops. He probably won't. He'll probably finish out his career in AAA at like age 27. But, if a guy like that catches the right breaks, he's amazing. And then the last one of note would be John Frieder Gerber, who's just like as bland a vanilla catcher as you can get, and sometimes that's not a bad pick. The rest of the draft, I just picked whoever appeared to have the highest level of skill left in the draft. Mostly I did pick guys with bad personalities, but there were a few in here, like my 20th pick, Dave Machadi, who is pretty strong for a 20th pick, and he had a good personality, but we're figuring, well, maybe he'll be tradable on down the line. So that's how the draft went. We got smoked. There was so much talent in there, but none of them had bad personalities almost. So the rest of Major League Baseball is having a field day with the B-holes right now. The All-Star game is about to go down. It looks like we had 4 All-Stars this year. We've got starting pitcher for the game, Logan Webb, which is awesome. Emmanuel Clase is going to sit the bench as a reliever. Tristan Casas, second vote getter at first base. And finally, Brenton Doyle starting in center field. The highest vote getter overall was Pete Crow Armstrong, and with over 4 million. And in the American League, it was Aaron Judge with like 3.9. We shouldn't have any problems with our draft guys. They should all accept their bonuses. A quick check-in on our farm system. Our minor leagues ranked 23rd out of 30, which, I'll take anything that isn't 30th, but we have fallen way back, especially since Gage Wood has been downgraded to 19th, and that's only going to drop further with his injury. And then Gabe Geckel here in 134th. Then we've got a guy we can't play on our team, DJ Layton, who seems to be rising up as a second baseman, very promising. Braden Jaska, his development is coming along very slowly, but hopefully surely. And then Alex Rodriguez, who is playing pretty well in the Dominican League, hitting 336. The prospect we gave up to get Kyle Tucker, Zamfir the Wolfman, he was hitting like 390 or 380 in rookie ball. So, ouch. But let's go ahead and simulate the home run challenge. Whoops, I don't want to actually play the round. Let's return. I don't see any reason to watch that really play out exactly. Here, let's go to mail, and we'll see what happens. And Kyle Schwarber takes it down over Aaron Judge, 19-18. If we look in on the statistics, Schwarber is leading in home runs, and Judge is second. And then Tristan Casas is not too terribly far behind here. And he also shows up on the leaderboard somewhere else. Extra base hits, he has 52. Santander has 54, so he's right there. Manny Machado with 28 doubles. And Kyle Tucker with 68 runs. And Cody Clemens with 7 sac flies is tied for the lead. So good for him. Kyle Tucker also doing well in walks. A quick look at the 185 player long trading block. Sandy Alcantara is a guy I would love to pick up. I don't think he has a bad personality. Okay, he doesn't have a good personality, so there is hope. There's no way Brendan Donovan's anything less than the best, yeah. So some good players in here, like Griffin Jacks, and why are the Cardinals trying to trade him? They are crazy. And it's the Cardinals. So yeah, some pretty strong players on the trading block. If we filter these results, players we can pick up, there are some interesting ones in there. We can get Manuel Rodriguez back from Miami. I just want to see what they want. And they'll take a lot of different guys, including maybe a minor leaguer who we don't need. So that's an interesting thing to keep in mind. But the guy I like is Brady Singer. This is a good-looking pitcher. David Peterson is about to come back onto the rotation, but it may be worth having Brady Singer around. He's only going to cost us about a little over $1 million, and he's going to be a free agent. We don't have to worry about an obligation to him. And if we want to get super crazy, we can go after Garrett Cole, who is still a good pitcher. At 36 years old, he's not putting up the best numbers, but it might be worth getting him. I don't think the Yankees will be willing to keep much of his contract. I think they're trying to dump the salary rather than trade him for being a bad player. So we'll see about that. And then we could also go after Isaac Paredes. So He's a guy we had a good, strong look at many times throughout this save, but he was always very hard to get. So let's see what the Astros think of him at the moment and his $12.5 million a year salary. So we'd have to give up like a Corey Lee or a Juan Cabada, who actually doesn't have a bad personality. So Juan Cabada for Isaac Paredes. Let me see what they would retain on him if we do that. Quite a lot. Okay. So they would keep, what, probably about $5 million on that at this point, because we're 90 games into the season, or 97 games in. So they would pretty much just hand us Isaac Paredes. I wonder how they feel about Chris Sale. They'll throw him in too. Uh-oh, what happened? Do they have buyer's remorse? They must. How much will they keep of Chris Sale? Whoa. They'll keep $21 million. What happens if I get rid of Isaac Paredes? Oh my. Okay, I've got some thinking to do. Well, this just got real exciting. The Yankees are done with Garrett Cole, and that does probably mean that he's toast. Probably. But worth taking the risk on. And then Will Warren, who is a perfectly decent starter or reliever, is they're throwing him in too, mostly retained. So this isn't going to cost us anything hardly, except for Ty Madden, who, yeah, he's got a bad personality like we need, but, he's just not great. So Ty Madden, we can get rid of him. And then the rest of these players are kind of irrelevant to my plans. So Garrett Cole, come on over. And if we go to the Houston Astros, they're going to give up all of Chris Sale. They will keep that entire contract, and they'll keep almost all of Isaac Paredes. And they just want one pretty decent starting, honestly, a pretty good pitching prospect and a pretty good second base prospect. So they are getting something from us, unlike the Yankees. Now, last time I checked on this deal, it was good to go. What happened? Oh, they want more? Okay, there we go. That works. Okay. So fans are super happy that we got Chris Sale. And what a couple of deals to make. So I may have accidentally cheated again. I know a long time ago I had said that I have to be careful with Hunter Gaddis because he had lost a bad personality trait. And so he was no longer eligible for the team if I cut him. Well, I did cut him before. I actually had to DFA him. And then I brought him back without checking his personality. And he's actually developed a very positive personality in the meantime, which is bonkers. I've never seen that. So, at least in this case, the punishment was inherent to the crime because he put up an 8.8 ERA for us. So I'm going to release him in good conscience and vow to be careful in the future. But I will also go back over my players and make sure that nobody I still have shortlisted has a bad personality so we can avoid that mistake in the future. Well, unfortunately, as fate would have it, I did not check before I snatched up Garrett Cole, and he now has a positive personality, whereas he used to have a negative personality. So he had 3 negative traits, 2 positive ones. Now he has 3 positive traits and 2 negative ones. So I have to get rid of him immediately from that DFA screen. So we're going to try to deal him. Now he's 100% retained. My scout thinks he's still really good. So he's got to have somebody out there who thinks he's still good. The entire game can't think he's washed up. And we're being offered a lot of salary dumps. We're being offered every salary dump, in fact. Okay. Yeah. Well, isn't that interesting? Let's go through the list, see if anybody is sticking out at us here. So far, I don't see anybody with a bad personality, which is kind of unfortunate. Let me just check Vinny Pasquantino. Okay. Just curious. And Michael Ciani, always curious about him. Yeah, of course. How's he doing, by the way? He's down in AAA. He is kind of a AAA guy. Okay, nothing with Garrett Mitchell. How's Sonny Gray doing? I'm sure his personality's good. Of course it is. Oh, this was unfortunate. Jacob Junis. He's 34, so maybe I'll pass on that. Bryce Miller, was he? Nope. I think at one time he may have been a bad personality. Okay, no one jumping out at me there. I will shop around and see what else I can find. We haven't found a way to get rid of Garrett Cole just yet, but this is an intriguing deal. Two of the players we just traded for, Isaac Paredes and Will Warren, plus very, very injured pitching prospect Gabe Geckel, who, he's out 5 more weeks. He's pretty good. Don't get me wrong. We would definitely be giving something up. But what we'd be getting is a 23-year-old shortstop, a guy who can play any infield position and also play in the outfield. So I think we may have our new super utility player. He's been up into the show a couple of times. This year he's had 300 plate appearances for Washington. And he's hitting .230. He's putting up a positive WAR. So I think we're going to go ahead and do this deal. Looks good for the future of the team. And also, let's see if we can retain a little bit of this. Every dollar counts, huh? Okay, we're going to give out 70. Okay, we'll take it. I'm about to utter a sentence that has never been spoken before. Garrett Cole and Tanner Scott have been waived and DFA'd. So honestly, I shopped them both around. Scott's performing terribly. In fact, he's my only pitcher who's performing terribly. He's, given up. He's got the bad BABIP, which sucks for him. But he's given up too many home runs. He's walking just a few too many guys for not enough strikeouts, and he's getting hit a lot. I just don't feel right having him on the team. I've got plenty of lefties. And I just have to look at it objectively. As much as I hate giving up on Tanner Scott, he just may not be the guy for us at this point in our franchise. So if somebody else wants to pick him up, that's fine because nobody wanted him on the trading block. And then Garrett Cole, nobody wants to touch him at all. He's actually negative value when I go to shop him, which kind of surprises me. So maybe the AI teams are kind of alerted behind the scenes to the fact that a player is deteriorating before the actual player is notified of that. I'm wondering if that's a kind of unintentional result of the changes they made to development this year. But that's not a good system. I know he's 36 years old, but plenty of 36-year-old guys are getting picked up out there. So not super happy that OOTP is doing that, if that is indeed what's going on. So we're just going to let Garrett Cole go into the minor leagues and hope he develops a bad personality. And if someone wants to pick Tanner Scott up, that's fine. And for the 3rd year in a row, the American League wins the All-Star Game in another pitcher-dominated performance. Wilyer Abreu in the top of the 10th hit a solo home run, and that was good enough to take it down. We had Logan Webb get in there for a perfect inning, and Emmanuel Clase gave up 1 hit in the save. As far as our hitters, I think they both got a hit. Yeah, Tristan Casas was 1 for 1, and Brenton Doyle was 1 for 3. So pretty good showing by the B-holes in the All-Star Game. And I'll go ahead and sim through these New York and Detroit series with you. We're 60-37, and so much has happened. Okay, a win and then a loss. New York takes game 3. So we dump that series, but hopefully come back in Detroit. We win 5-2, lose 1-9. And then somehow Garrett Cole and Tanner Scott made it through waivers. They're going to sit in AAA. So good deal there. And let's move on past that last game. And we win 8-3. So we are 3-3 over our last 6 since the All-Star break. We are 63-40, which is good enough for a 5-game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays, which is pretty awesome because we need that. Just a little news on the lighter side. Red hot Cody Bellinger scorches beeholes. Yeah, he was fire. What can I say? And Manny Machado hit his 400th home run. So good for Manny. And good for Bellinger getting in there scoring. And 2 more pieces of interesting trading news at the deadline. We're playing Boston right now. And we're going to swap players. I'm giving them Garrett Cole. They're giving me Kyle Isbell retained. And he is going into a season of ARB. So he's going up to 9.5 million-ish next year. So it's very unlikely that we'll hold on to him. But I would love to have a quality backup outfielder taking us down the stretch. So we're getting Kyle Isbell back. And it's going to be awkward, but hey, at least, they don't have to go far. They just have to walk across the field. And then the other trade, it's a big one. I don't know if it's a good one. Chicago has signed Ben Brown, who I've had my eye on this whole save. He looks very good. He is an extreme fly ball pitcher. He does give up some homers. But this contract for this quality of pitcher, it's not that bad to begin with. And he's 27. They want to keep 60%. And then they just want Chris Sale, who's free, essentially. I think I have to do it. I mean, Sale is right now a higher quality pitcher. There's no doubt about that. But Ben Brown has a future, and he's got a lot of value in him. And this would make a lot of sense, I think. So we're going to go ahead and do that one too. Yeah, fans are not happy that we got rid of Chris Sale, but I'm really happy that our organization has a future in the pitching rotation. More shakeups in the lineup as things start to settle into something that looks pretty decent. Griffin Conine, not performing too well. Zach Geloff, also not performing all that well. Both have been sent down. We may call one or both of them up in September. But in the meantime, here's the new depth chart. Lars Newbar is struggling in left field, so he needs to get his act together a little. Brenton Doyle, Kyle Tucker, just like before. The infield looks the same with Tristan Casas. Trey Sweeney filling in for the injured Jackson Holiday. Mason Wynn, Manny Machado rounding out the infield. Cody Clemens taking the full-time DH job. And Casey Schmidt backing up the infield. And Merrick Houston is going to step in a super utility role. And I know he only expects to be a bench player, even though he's been starting all year, which is for Washington, which is pretty nice of him. And I haven't yet decided whether to have Schmidt play at DH versus lefties. I think we're going to put him in there let's say every other game. And that should be okay. The computer should be able to figure out who to put who where. But now we do have a super utility player, we have a dedicated outfielder, and a reasonably dedicated infielder who doesn't play second base all that well, but he does play it passably along with shortstop. So I think we're looking great there. And on the pitching side, Tanner Scott has come back up after several dynamite starts in AAA. We have sent down Roman... Hold on. I want to get his name right. Roman Angelo was his name, along with Geloff and Conine. And we have made room for Ben Brown in the starting rotation. So Webb, Skubal, Grayson Rodriguez, Ben Brown, and David Peterson, a very solid starting 5. And Clase still holding down that closer role, although Edward Bizardo might be getting kind of close to taking it from him somehow. Trent Harris still hanging in there. Aroldis Chapman doing his job and doing it well. Jordan Hicks booted out of the starting rotation. Hopefully he doesn't hold that against us. Troy Taylor, Jose Ferrer doing fantastic in long relief. And then Tanner Scott will round it out as a specialist. And yeah, until he proves himself, we're just going to leave him in that specialist role and not give him a secondary role. So there you have it. We will go past the trade deadline. We will start heading down the stretch, and hopefully, if all things hold out, our 4.5 game lead looking strong. I want to get into the playoffs. I don't want to have to play a wild card game and roll the dice one additional time. So hopefully we will be the AL East Division title winners this year. And please join me for that, and I'll see you next time. So long and take care.